Hello, my name is Sue Macniven. Today we're going to have a look at wool combing. We're going to start off with a Shetland fleece. This is a nice soft fleece, not too long, about 3 to 4 inches, and it's ideal for being combed with mini combs. So first thing we're going to do is show you the fleece that we'll be using and the mini combs themselves, and then I'll get into the actual combing process. Right, the fleece on the right is the Shetland unwashed locks, and the wool on the left is the wash locks. You see it has quite a good crimp pattern. It's been washed in boiling water but not agitated at all. I'm just using a little bit of woolite. A little bit damp, which will help with any static that may be. This fleece now is ready to comb. It's a little bit damp, which will help with any static that may be caused by the combing with metal teeth. So I'm just going to show you the combs. Okay, these are the mini combs that we're going to be using. As you can see, they've got 2 rows of tines, and this makes a much quicker job of combing the wool. Means that you don't have to use 3 or 4 passes to get rid of all the lumps. You can actually get away with just 2. And I'm now going to show you how we use them. Right, about to start combing the wool. I have handy to my side a little bowl of water, just in case I need that to dampen down any static that's formed. So the first thing I'm going to do is to lash the wool onto the combs, and I'm using the butt end to the comb, so that is the end that's been cut off the sheep. At this point I'm only going to put on 3 or 4 clumps of locks, make sure that they're on properly. We've got a static comb and a working comb. The working comb is the one that moves, the static one just stays where it is. So we start off with the teeth uppermost on the static comb, and we're going to use the moving comb away from the body. Until you get comfortable with these, it's safer to do that, that way you're not going to take yourself down the boob side. So we start off just catching the tip of the lock with the comb. Now at this point I'm pulling the comb away from the other one, and I'm making sure that the fibres completely separate, and I'm flipping them back slightly out of the way on the moving comb so that they don't double back on themselves and catch onto the teeth. Now at this point I want to comb this side of the fleece because it's not getting as much combing as the back of the fleece. So in this case I'm going to go towards me, so I'm being very careful. I'm quite happy with the size I am. I don't particularly want to end up a cup size smaller. And again, separating the fleece, coming back round, making sure that each time I'm going through the tip of the fleece, and gradually the wool is being transferred onto the moving comb. Okay. Any fleece that's left on the static comb I'm going to take off and discard, because that'll be shortcuts and little nubbly bits that we don't want in the finished preparation. So the next step is to transfer the wool off the moving comb back onto the static comb. So that stays upright again, and this time instead of the comb working backwards and forwards away from me and towards me, this time it's going to work down on top of the comb teeth that way. So you catch it down and you pull it away, catch it down, pull it away, catch it down and pull it away. Now you can turn this comb over so that you've got the teeth pointing away from you and comb that way, and that way you're going to be working through all of the fibre and it won't just be pushed to one side. Again, got to the point where we've got some little shortcuts, little nubbly bits here that we don't want to use, so we discard those again. We've had 2 passes and the fleece is very well combed, there's no nubbles or shortcuts left in it, so I'm now going to start drawing the fleece off into a roving. So hold the comb firmly on your knee with one hand, bring all the fibres to a point with the other, and then you pull, and it's very slow, steady pull. As you see the fleece start to thin at this point here, we then re-grip and pull again. And you can change your grip from side to side and pull, and top to bottom and pull. And each time all I'm doing is gripping the very tips of the new wool as it comes off the comb. If you're a little bit too keen with this and you pull it a little bit hard, you can end up breaking the roving off, in which case you need to lash it back onto the teeth and start pulling again. So as you work your way along the roving, you find that gradually the fleece is becoming shorter, so your hands are coming closer up to the teeth of the comb. This is perfectly normal. It means that you've got all the long wool first and gradually you're working into the shorter wool. At this point you've got a decision to make really. Depends on what you're going to use it for, whether you need purely long wool or whether you can actually incorporate the shorter stuff as well. All it means basically is that when you're drafting, your drafting zone becomes shorter. So instead of having your hands a long distance apart for the long wool, your hands are closer together for the short wool. So I'm quite happy to have this slightly shorter stuff in. Now we're getting to a point where we're beginning to get little nubbles and short cuts coming through. At that point I'm going to break off, get rid of those little ends, put the comb to one side. Now because I overspin from the butt end of the fleece, it means that this is the end that was on the tips of the combs. This is the end I want to start spinning with. So for me to spin with this, I'm going to take the other end and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers, putting a couple of little twists into it as I do, and finish up with the end sticking out in the middle. Now I can make a lot of these and put them to one side, and then I can start to spin them when I want to do a whole lot together. It means that I get into a much better rhythm rather than prepare one, spin one, prepare another and spin another. So from this point I'm going to put this away to one side and comb some more.